My beloved child, if you are watching this from your home in the United States, whether it is midnight in Texas, early morning in California, or a quiet afternoon in New York, understand this. This message is not random. I know the pressure you are under. I see the anxiety that visits you at night. I see the financial stress, the relationship confusion, the silent battles with depression, and the spiritual dryness that no one else notices. America may look strong on the outside, but many of my children there are tired inside. You scroll, you search, you question, and tonight you found this message. That was not an accident. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Jeremiah 29, verse 11. You have been asking me, God, are you still with me? Are you listening? Why does it feel silent? My child, I am about to answer you in 6 parts. Do not rush, do not skip. Every section carries something specific for your spirit. Take a deep breath. Let me speak. My beloved, the first lie the enemy whispers into the hearts of my children in this generation is this: God left you. When the job opportunity didn't come, when the relationship ended, when the diagnosis shocked you, when the prayers seemed unanswered, you assumed my silence meant my absence. But listen carefully. I will never leave you, nor forsake you. Hebrews 13:5. Never means never. You are living in a culture that measures love by visible proof, immediate replies, instant results, quick confirmations. But I am not a notification on your phone. I am the Alpha and the Omega. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, says the Lord. Revelation 22:13. Many of my children in America feel spiritually isolated right now. Churches feel routine. Friendships feel shallow. Faith feels dry. But dryness is not death. Even David felt abandoned. My God, why have you forsaken me? Psalm 22, verse 1. Yet the same David later declared, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Psalm 23:1. Feelings change. Truth does not. You are not abandoned. You are being developed. When I seem quiet, I am working beneath the surface. Roots grow in silence. Seeds break underground before they ever rise. Consider Joseph. He was betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused, thrown into prison. For years, it looked like I had left him. But what did Joseph later say? You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good. Genesis 50:20. My child, what you are calling abandonment is positioning. You wanted comfort. I am building character. You wanted quick relief. I am preparing lasting elevation. In this nation, where performance defines identity, you have forgotten something vital. You are loved before you achieve anything. But God demonstrates His own love for us in this. While we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Romans 5:8. I did not wait for you to become perfect. I did not wait for you to become strong. I chose you in your weakness. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 12:9. Some of you feel ashamed because your faith is not as strong as it used to be. You used to pray longer, worship louder, believe bigger. Now you feel tired. Let me tell you something. Even your tired prayers reach me. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Psalm 34:18. Close, not distant. I am closer than your fear, closer than your doubt, closer than your financial struggle. You are not fighting alone. In this season I am teaching you to trust my presence, not your perception, for we walk by faith, not by sight. 2 Corinthians 5:7. Sight says, nothing is changing. Faith says, God is moving. You may not see angels working. You may not hear heavenly strategies. But I am aligning people, shifting timing, blocking danger, and preparing answers. Some doors I closed to protect you. Some delays saved you from disasters you never knew about. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. Isaiah 55:8. You judge the situation too early. The story is not finished. Listen carefully now. The pressure you are feeling is proof that you are in transition. Just as gold is refined in fire, I am refining you. He will sit as a refiner and purifier of silver. Malachi 3:3. Refining burns, but it does not destroy. The enemy wants you to interpret refinement as rejection. But I say to you, you are being strengthened. You are being stretched. The version of you that will walk into your next season cannot carry the insecurity, fear, and dependence of your last season. So I am reshaping you. Yes, it feels uncomfortable, but growth always does. Before David wore a crown, he fought lions in secret. Before Moses led a nation, he wandered in the wilderness. Before Jesus began his ministry, he fasted in the desert. Then Jesus said, "In this world you will have trouble, but take heart. I have overcome the world." John 16:33. Take heart, not panic, not quit, not surrender to fear. Take heart, because I am still writing your testimony. And one day, you will look back at this season and say, if God had not allowed that, I would not be who I am today. You are not abandoned. You are becoming my beloved child. The frustration you feel is real. The pressure is real. The tension in your home, the stress at your workplace, the misunderstanding in your relationships, all of it feels visible and tangible. But what you must understand now is this: what you see is not the true source of the battle. You have been trying to fight people. You have been trying to fix circumstances. You have been trying to control outcomes. But the root is deeper. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Ephesians 6:12. Your struggle is not really against your boss. It is not really against your spouse. It is not really against your critics. There is a spiritual war over your focus, your peace, your identity, and your future. The enemy does not always attack you with obvious evil. Sometimes he attacks you with distraction. Sometimes with exhaustion. Sometimes with comparison. Sometimes with subtle doubt that whispers, maybe God won't come through this time. In a culture filled with noise, social media opinions, political division, economic uncertainty, moral confusion, your mind has become a battlefield. And the enemy knows that if he can control your thoughts, he can influence your direction. For as he thinks in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23:7. The war begins in the mind. That anxiety you feel at night, that sudden wave of discouragement, that irrational fear about tomorrow, those are not random emotions. They are arrows. Above all, taking the shield of faith, with which you shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. Ephesians 6:16. Fiery darts, not physical spears, thoughts, lies, imaginations. You're falling behind. You're not good enough. God is disappointed in you. You'll never recover from this. But I say to you, cast down imaginations and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, and bring into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ. 2 Corinthians 10:5. You must learn to arrest your thoughts. Not every thought that enters your mind deserves to stay there. Some thoughts must be rejected immediately. When fear says, you will fail, you answer with, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Philippians 4:13. When worry says, what if everything collapses? You answer with, and we know that all things work together for good to them that love God. Romans 8:28. When guilt says, you've messed up too much, you answer with, there is therefore now no condemnation to those who are in Christ Jesus. Romans 8:1. You do not win spiritual battles with anger. You do not win spiritual battles with revenge. You win them with truth. Jesus himself showed you this pattern. When he was tempted in the wilderness, Satan came with lies and distortions. But Jesus did not argue emotionally. He responded with Scripture. It is written. Matthew 4, verse 4. 3 times he said it. It is written. The word is your weapon. And take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. Ephesians 6:17. Notice, the sword is not your opinion. It is not your feelings. It is the word. Many of my children feel defeated because they are fighting spiritual battles with emotional reactions instead of spiritual authority. You must stand. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. Ephesians 6:11. Stand when it feels uncomfortable. Stand when your emotions fluctuate. Stand when answers delay. Standing does not mean you are not hurting. It means you refuse to surrender. Some of you are under attack because you are close to breakthrough. The enemy intensifies pressure when he senses movement. He does not waste resources on people who are spiritually asleep. The very fact that you feel resistance means you matter. Submit yourselves therefore to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. James 4:7. Notice the order. Submit first, resist second. Submission strengthens resistance. When you surrender your pride, your timeline, your need to control, you become spiritually aligned. And alignment produces authority. You are not powerless. Behold, I give you authority over all the power of the enemy. Luke 10:19. Authority does not mean absence of battle. It means you fight from victory, not for victory. The cross already secured your position. He disarmed the powers and authorities. He made a public spectacle of them, triumphing over them by the cross. Colossians 2:15. The enemy's greatest weapon is deception. He wants you to believe the battle is bigger than your God. But listen carefully. Greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. 1 John 4:4. Greater. Not equal, not barely stronger, greater. The spiritual atmosphere around you may feel heavy, but heaviness breaks in my presence. You will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on you. Isaiah 26:3. Peace is not the absence of war. It is stability in the middle of it. And I am teaching you stability. Some relationships are being shaken because I am exposing what is not aligned with your destiny. Some opportunities are closing because they would have drained your calling. Some battles are permitted because they are building spiritual muscle. No soldier becomes strong without resistance. Endure hardship as a good soldier of Christ Jesus. 2 Timothy 2:3. Endure does not mean enjoy, it means persist. This season is not punishment, it is preparation. The battle is not to destroy you, it is to develop discernment, to teach you to pray deeper, to rely on me more than on systems, to trust my voice above cultural noise. Be still now, and remember, the Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Exodus 14:14. Stillness is not passivity, it is confidence. You are not fighting alone. Angels move when you pray. Chains break when you worship. Darkness shifts when you declare truth. The unseen realm responds to faith. So stop blaming the visible. Stop fighting the wrong enemy. Stop exhausting yourself trying to control what is spiritual. This is not just about money, not just about relationships, not just about reputation. It is about your destiny, and your destiny is guarded. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Isaiah 54:17. Formed does not mean successful. The battle you are in right now is proof that your life carries weight in the kingdom. You are not crazy. You are not weak. You are not abandoned. You are in a spiritual war, and you are equipped to win. My beloved child, the waiting has been heavier than you expected. You prayed with confidence. You believed with excitement. You even told others what you felt I had promised you. But then, silence. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, months into what feels like an endless stretch of uncertainty. And now you are wondering if I changed my mind about you. You are wondering if maybe you misunderstood me. You are wondering if perhaps the door closed because you were not worthy after all. But listen carefully and let this settle into your spirit. Delay is not denial. I am not withholding from you to harm you. I am aligning things you cannot yet see. For the vision is yet for an appointed time. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. Habakkuk 2:3. Notice that I said appointed time, not random time, not accidental timing, appointed. That means there is a schedule in heaven that does not always match the urgency of earth. You live in a culture that demands instant results, fast food, fast shipping, instant replies, immediate gratification. But I am not governed by cultural impatience. I operate in eternal wisdom. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Ecclesiastes 3:1. There is a time to plant and a time to harvest, a time to build and a time to step back, a time to move and a time to remain still. The problem is not that you planted. The problem is that you are trying to harvest in planting season. Growth that happens too fast cannot sustain weight. If I were to release certain blessings before your character is ready, the very thing you prayed for could crush you. Think about Abraham. I promised him a son. Not next year, not immediately, decades passed. His body aged. Sarah laughed. Hope seemed unreasonable. But what I spoke, I fulfilled. Is anything too hard for the Lord? Genesis 18:14. The delay built faith. The delay built endurance. The delay made the miracle undeniable. If Isaac had come quickly, it would have been convenient. But because he came in divine timing, it was covenant. My child, some of what you are waiting for is covenant, not convenience. That is why the timing matters. You are looking at the calendar, but I am looking at the construction. I am building connections. I am shifting circumstances. I am protecting you from unseen dangers. I am preparing hearts. I am orchestrating conversations. I am allowing certain doors to close so that you will not settle for something beneath your calling. The Lord is not slow concerning his promise, as some count slowness, but is patient toward you. 2 Peter 3:9. My slowness is not neglect, it is precision. You compare your life to others and feel behind. Friends are getting married, others are buying homes, some are launching businesses. Others seem to be accelerating while you feel stuck. But you are not behind. You are on a different timeline. When David was anointed king, he did not immediately sit on the throne. He returned to the field with sheep. He faced Goliath. He fled from Saul. Years passed between promise and palace. Yet every stage shaped the king he would become. If David had skipped the field, he would not have had the courage to face giants. If he had skipped the wilderness, he would not have written psalms of intimacy. If he had skipped persecution, he would not have developed mercy. The delay was not punishment, it was preparation. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. Isaiah 40:31. Waiting does not weaken you when it is done in faith. It renews you, it stretches your capacity, it deepens your roots. Some of you are asking, how long, Lord? Even the psalmist cried that out. How long, O Lord? Will you forget me forever? Psalm 13:1. I am not offended by your honest questions, but I want you to shift from questioning my heart to trusting my timing. You see fragments, I see the full design. You see delay, I see alignment. You see closed doors, I see protection. You see silence, I see strategy. Joseph waited in prison for a dream he did not fully understand. But when the appointed moment came, one conversation with Pharaoh changed everything. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God. Romans 8:28. Not some things, all things, even the waiting, even the disappointment, even the confusion. Right now, you are being strengthened in areas you cannot measure. Patience is forming. Humility is deepening. Dependence on me is increasing. If I answered every prayer immediately, you might begin to trust the gift more than the giver. The waiting keeps your heart anchored to me, and I care more about your spiritual stability than temporary comfort. Remember this, when I delay something good, it is because I am preparing something better. When I remove something, it is because it cannot go where I am taking you. When I stretch the timeline, it is because the impact will be greater than you expect. Being confident of this very thing, that he which has begun a good work in you will perform it until the day of Jesus Christ. Philippians 1:6. So breathe. Stop interpreting delay as rejection. Stop measuring my faithfulness by speed. The promise still stands. The door will open at the right time. The relationship will align in the right season. The provision will arrive when you are positioned to steward it wisely. Your responsibility right now is not to force outcomes, but to remain faithful, to keep praying, to keep growing, to keep believing, to keep walking, even when the path feels slow. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. Proverbs 3:5. Leaning on your understanding will produce anxiety. Trusting my wisdom will produce peace. The delay is not empty. It is full of invisible activity. Seeds are breaking open beneath the soil. Roots are expanding in darkness, and when the time is right, what was hidden will rise suddenly. What feels slow will accelerate. What seemed impossible will unfold. Do not give up 5 minutes before your breakthrough. Do not surrender your faith in the middle of the process. I am not teasing you with promises. I am preparing you for fulfillment. And when it happens, you will realize that if it had come earlier, you would not have been ready to sustain it. Stay steady. Stay hopeful. Stay anchored. Your delay is divine timing. My beloved child, you have grown used to slow movement. You have adjusted your expectations. You have quietly told yourself not to hope too loudly, because disappointment felt too heavy before. But I need you to prepare your heart for something different. The season you have been in, the waiting, the stretching, the refining, has not been pointless. It has been positioning. And when positioning is complete, movement follows. The shift that is coming into your life will not look like gradual improvement. It will look like sudden alignment. It will feel like acceleration after stagnation, because that is how I move when the appointed time arrives. For I, the Lord, will hasten it in its time. Isaiah 60:22. Notice those words carefully. Hasten it in its time. When it is not time, things feel slow. When it becomes time, events unfold quickly. Conversations happen at the right moment. Doors open without force. Favor finds you without manipulation. What once resisted you begins to respond to you. You have been in a hidden season, hidden growth, hidden tears, hidden prayers, hidden obedience. No applause, no recognition, no visible reward, but hidden seasons are sacred seasons. Even Jesus spent 30 years in preparation before 3 years of public ministry. Silence does not mean insignificance. Obscurity does not mean irrelevance. What I develop in private sustains you in public. Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God, that he may exalt you in due time. 1 Peter 5:6. Due time is not random time. It is intentional elevation. An elevation without humility leads to destruction. That is why I shaped your character before I shift your circumstances. You have wondered why certain relationships faded, why some opportunities dissolved, why some plans collapsed just when they seemed promising. It felt like loss, but it was pruning. Every branch that bears fruit he prunes, that it may bear more fruit. John 15:2. Pruning feels painful because it involves cutting, but cutting increases capacity. I removed what could not go where you are headed. I allowed certain disappointments because they were redirections. You interpreted closed doors as failure. I saw them as filtration. Not everyone who begins the journey with you is meant to complete it with you. Not every opportunity that shines is divine, and not every open door is assignment. I have been protecting your destiny more than you realize. The shift that is coming will not just change what you do, it will change how you see. Perspective will expand, confidence will strengthen, clarity will increase. For months you have felt like you are walking through fog. Decisions felt unclear. Direction felt uncertain. But clarity comes after consecration. Breakthrough comes after surrender. The shift will surprise you, not because it was unplanned, but because you underestimated my ability to restore. You counted yourself out too early. You assumed the setback was permanent. But I am the God who restores years. I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten. Joel 2:25. Restoration is not partial. It is intentional. What seemed wasted will be woven into testimony. What seemed broken will become wisdom. What seemed delayed will amplify gratitude. The pain you endured will give you compassion. The confusion you survived will give you discernment. The waiting you endured will give you endurance. Do not sabotage your shift by returning to what I delivered you from. When momentum begins, do not look back at Egypt. When opportunity appears, do not shrink from it because of fear. Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. Isaiah 43:18. You cannot step fully into what is ahead while emotionally camping in what is behind. Release resentment. Release regret. Release self-doubt. Your next season requires emotional lightness. The shift will also test your faith at a higher level. New levels bring new responsibilities. New influence brings new accountability. But you are not unprepared. Every tear strengthened you. Every prayer anchored you. Every delay matured you. You are stronger than you think. You are wiser than you were. You are more spiritually grounded than before. That is why the shift can now occur without destroying you. Lift your expectation. Raise your vision. Align your heart. Because what is approaching you is not random improvement. It is divine orchestration. You have cried long enough. You have questioned long enough. You have doubted long enough. Now prepare for movement. Prepare for confirmation. Prepare for evidence of what you believed in silence. The shift is coming, and it will surprise you, my beloved child. The reason the pressure has felt intense is because the calling on your life is significant. You have tried to minimize it. You have tried to convince yourself that you are ordinary, that your desires are unrealistic, that your dreams are too ambitious, or too spiritual, or too impractical. But deep inside, you know there is something more. There is a pull you cannot explain. There is a restlessness when you settle. There is dissatisfaction when you shrink. That tension you feel is not confusion. It is calling. For many are called, but few are chosen. Matthew 22, verse 14. The calling is an invitation, but the chosen are those who respond despite fear. And fear has been the loudest voice trying to silence your response. Fear has told you that you are not qualified enough, not educated enough, not connected enough, not confident enough. Fear has shown you your past mistakes as proof that you are disqualified. Fear has magnified your weaknesses until they felt bigger than your purpose. But listen carefully. I have never called someone based on their perfection. I call based on my design. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. Jeremiah 1:5. You were not an accident. Your temperament, your story, your pain, your talents, even your struggles, all of it has been woven into your assignment. You see flaws. I see formation. You see weakness. I see training. You see insecurity. I see humility that keeps you dependent on me. Consider Moses. When I called him to lead, he responded with excuses. He said he was slow of speech. He said he was not capable. He said someone else would be better. But I did not withdraw the calling because he felt inadequate. My presence will go with you, and I will give you rest. Exodus 33:14. The calling is never meant to be carried alone. It is carried with my presence. Fear tells you that you must have everything figured out before you move. Faith tells you to move and trust that I will guide each step. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Proverbs 3:5. Your understanding is limited to what you can see. My plan extends beyond what you imagine. Some of you are afraid because the calling feels bigger than your current reality. You look at your bank account, you look at your qualifications, you look at your social circle, you look at your past, and you say, how could this ever happen? But when has my power ever depended on human statistics? When I chose David, he was the youngest, overlooked, tending sheep while his brothers stood in public view. Yet I declared, man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. 1 Samuel 16:7. Your heart matters more than your resume. Your obedience matters more than your resources. Your surrender matters more than your status. Fear also tries to convince you that stepping into your calling will cost too much. It whispers that you will lose comfort, approval, predictability. And it is true. Calling requires courage. It requires stepping out of familiar spaces. It requires saying no to distractions. It requires discipline when others choose ease. But what you gain is greater than what you lose. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. 2 Timothy 1:7. Fear is not from me. Power is, love is, clarity is. When fear speaks, you must recognize its source and refuse to let it govern your decisions. The enemy attacks your identity before he attacks your destiny. If he can make you doubt who you are, you will hesitate to walk in what you are called to do. That is why you must anchor yourself in truth. You are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, his own special people. 1 Peter 2:9. Chosen, royal, set apart. Those words are not poetic exaggeration. They are spiritual reality. You are not trying to become chosen. You already are. The calling is not something you create. It is something you discover through obedience. Do not wait until fear disappears before you act. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is movement despite fear. When Peter stepped out of the boat, the waves were still present, but he walked because his focus was on me. Immediately, Jesus stretched out his hand and caught him. Matthew 14:31. Even when your faith wavers, my hand remains steady. I do not expect flawless execution. I expect faithful obedience. Each small step strengthens your confidence. Each act of courage weakens fear's grip. Some of you are called to lead, some to create, some to teach, some to serve, some to build businesses that operate with integrity, some to restore families, some to speak truth in environments where compromise is common, some to intercede in prayer for communities and cities. The calling is diverse, but the source is the same, and the calling will continue to stir within you until you respond. Ignoring it will not silence it. Suppressing it will not remove it. It will only increase the inner tension you feel. Remember this: the one who calls you also equips you. Faithful is he who calls you, who also will do it. 1 Thessalonians 5:24. If the vision feels larger than you, that is confirmation that it requires me. If it feels slightly uncomfortable, that is evidence that it will stretch you. If it feels intimidating, that is proof that it carries weight. Do not shrink to fit your fear. Rise to match your calling. The same Spirit that raised Christ from the dead lives in you. That power is not symbolic. It is active. It strengthens, guides, convicts, empowers. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You are not too inexperienced. Your past does not cancel your future. In fact, it may be the very testimony that gives you credibility. What you survived has prepared you to help someone else survive. What you overcame has prepared you to guide someone else through their valley. Nothing has been wasted. Nothing has been accidental. So, lift your head, straighten your shoulders, quiet the voice of fear with the voice of truth. Step forward, even if your voice shakes. Obey, even if your confidence is still forming. The calling you carry is not fragile. It is anchored in my purpose. And what I have planted in you, no fear can uproot unless you allow it. Your fear may be loud, but your calling is louder. My beloved child, you have walked through doubt, delay, spiritual warfare, stretching, pruning, and the trembling steps of obedience. You have questioned, you have cried, you have waited, and at times you have wondered if the promise spoken over your life was slowly fading into silence. But hear me clearly now. What I have spoken over you cannot expire. My promises are not seasonal trends. They are covenant declarations. God is not a man that he should lie, nor a son of man that he should repent. Has he said, and will he not do it? Or has he spoken, and will he not make it good? Numbers 23:19. If I spoke it, I will perform it. If I planted it, I will grow it. If I promised it, I will fulfill it. The timeline may not have matched your expectations, but fulfillment is not based on your schedule. You have feared that maybe your mistakes canceled the promise. You have replayed moments of weakness and wondered if you disqualified yourself. But remember this, my promises are anchored in my faithfulness, not your perfection. If we are faithless, he remains faithful. He cannot deny himself. 2 Timothy 2:13. I discipline, I correct, I refine, but I do not abandon my covenant. Look at Peter. He denied me 3 times. He wept bitterly. Yet I restored him and used him to build the early church. Failure did not erase his calling. It deepened his humility. Your lowest moments have not shocked me. I saw them before you lived them, and I still called you. The promise over your life has been contested because it carries weight. Opposition is often confirmation. The enemy does not attack what is empty. He attacks what is valuable. But what he intended to discourage you will ultimately strengthen your testimony. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Isaiah 54:17. Formed does not mean effective. Designed does not mean victorious. The weapon may have been crafted, but it will not succeed. There were moments when you thought you would not recover, emotionally, financially, spiritually. Yet here you are, still breathing, still believing, still standing. That alone is evidence of preservation. There is a day coming when you will look back at this season and recognize it as the chapter that built your faith. The tears you cried in private will become the oil of compassion you pour into others. The nights you lay awake worrying will become stories you share to strengthen someone else. And we know that all things work together for good to those who love God, to those who are called according to his purpose. Romans 8:28. All things, not just the victories, not just the highlights, even the setbacks, even the heartbreaks, even the confusion. I waste nothing. What felt like a detour was development. What felt like delay was design. Your testimony will not just be about what you gained. It will be about who you became. Before the promise manifests externally, it transforms internally. You are not the same person you were when this journey began. You are more discerning, more prayerful, more grounded, less impressed by shallow success, less shaken by temporary storms. The process matured you, being confident of this very thing, that he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion. Philippians 1:6. Completion is guaranteed because the author is faithful. I do not start stories I do not intend to finish. There will be a moment, maybe not loud, maybe not public at first, when you realize the promise has arrived. It may come through a phone call, a signature, a healed relationship, an open door, an unexpected opportunity, a restored peace in your spirit. And when it happens, it will not feel like luck. It will feel like fulfillment, like prophecy stepping into reality, like prayer turning into evidence. The Lord has done great things for us, and we are filled with joy. Psalm 126, verse 3. Joy will replace anxiety. Gratitude will replace doubt. Confidence will replace fear. And you will understand why the process took the time it did. But do not think the testimony is only for you. Your breakthrough will strengthen others. Your story will remind someone not to quit. Your perseverance will inspire someone to trust again. Let the redeemed of the Lord say so. Psalm 107, verse 2. There is power in declaring what I have done. Silence keeps others trapped in hopelessness. Testimony releases faith into atmospheres of despair. The enemy tried to silence you with discouragement. I will use your voice to declare deliverance. Even after fulfillment, stay humble, stay anchored, stay grateful. Remember who carried you when you felt weak. Remember who sustained you when you almost gave up. Remember who guided you when you could not see. Trust in the Lord forever, for the Lord himself, is the rock eternal. Isaiah 26:4. The promise is not the final destination. Relationship with me is. The blessing is not greater than the blesser. The gift is not greater than the giver. Let success draw you closer, not distract you. Let favor increase your faithfulness, not your pride. The promise will be fulfilled because I am faithful. It will not bypass you. It will not forget you. It will not choose someone else because you struggled. It is tied to your obedience and my timing. You have endured the refining. You have survived the waiting. You have resisted the lies. Now prepare to rejoice. Prepare to step into answered prayer. Prepare to see tangible evidence of what you believed in darkness. One day you will say, if the Lord had not been on my side, Psalm 124:1. And you will finish that sentence with gratitude instead of grief. The story is not ending in defeat. It is concluding in fulfillment. And when you testify, you will not glorify your strength. You will glorify my faithfulness. The promise will be fulfilled, and you will testify.